Grace and peace, guys. I see my brother Maybach and my Lotus is here. Salute to you guys. Salute to you guys. So it's our last Mindful Monday of 2022. And, it's basically going to be a recap. I don't have anything specifically to talk about. FL's in the building. Yay! Salute to my FL. Big Cat, if you're listening and you can come in later, please do. Big Cat blessed me over the holiday weekend, and I thank him so much for all that. And also my Miss Sharon, she as well, I got to do a reading with her last Thursday, and a surprise. Also, in addition to having her reading, she also blessed me as well, in addition to her paying for her reading. So I thank her very much. Okay, Big Cat is here. I was so surprised. I'm like with my family yesterday. I'm like, oh, my Big Cat. And they're like, what? I was just like, it's a long story. And then I told them about it. And it was just like, oh, that's so sweet. I'm like, that was such an amazing, that just topped my night. So I got to just say that, Big Cat, you made my night. I was with my family. So I gotta bring you guys up to speed. And, I hope that all is well with our brother Maybach, because he's also been going through some family tribulations as well. So we need to keep our brother in our minds and our hearts during this, holiday season. So last week I wasn't able to come on because so the 13th I was supposed to come on and do a midweek check-in. And I said to y'all on Monday that I might or might not come on because I was going to go to the dentist. I needed to get a tooth pulled. I didn't know how that was going to work. I thought, I was being ambitious and saying, yeah, I'm going to come on Wednesday, not knowing that I couldn't talk. Yes, thank you, my Big Cat. And so, I said for the people, you know what I mean? I'm going to do this for the people. So we're going to pull right through. And it seems like it never fails the end of the year from November to January. For the past 4 years, I've been plagued with death, illness, death, illness, death, illness. This past 2 weeks, or a week and a half ago, was a near death with my father, the Pisces. So, moving back just a little bit, I had my tooth removed. So his friend calls me and says, listen, your dad's in bad shape. I don't know if he's going to be pulling through with the next couple of hours. You need to come here and see him and get some kind of medical help for him. So the wisdom oracle that I left us off with that last Mindful Monday had mentioned something about somebody feeling, orphaned or feeling left out, the holiday seasons, they could be going through some things. Well, that struck home. So that oracle reading actually hit home more closer than I had expected. So I get to my desk. So Tuesday morning, I go get my wisdom tooth pulled out. I'm all Novocaine'd up. I got, gauze in my mouth. I'm kind of half, laughing gas kind of wearing off on me. So I go to see my dad. He's looking a little, out of it. He knew he was there. He knew I was there. He knew his friends were there. He was fully dressed, but he just kind of looked off. He was kind of zoned out a little bit. So he's been telling me that he's been falling. He fell on the concrete not too long before him, sitting there on the street. He fell, hit his head. In his house, he's hit his head. So he's been having some issues with his equilibrium being off. Not going to get checked out. And I had told him over the weekend I was going to go to his house and book some appointments. He needs to see the doctor. We need to get some things going. Make a long story short, his friends suggested, I think you should take him to the hospital. So I was like, all right, we'll get in a cab. And she's like, no, you need to call 911. So shout out to her, because she's a home health attendant. So she could see that things weren't medically right with my dad. We get to the emergency room, and because of the corona restrictions, you can't be in the emergency area. Well, certain hospitals, this particular hospital, they weren't having that. They were like, he can sit here in the back where the whole emergency room base is, but like family members or friends need to come sit out like in a little waiting area. Well, that was about 1:00 in the afternoon. I told y'all, meanwhile, I'm like this. I'm mumbling. I can't talk. I'm still kind of like, it's a little swollen here. It's a little sore. But what happened was the wisdom tooth, it was so impacted that they had to split most of the gum to pull that out. So I got like a bigger hole in my mouth, on my jaw than expected. So now I'm talking to the doctors. I'm, got this mouth situation going on, trying to explain to them what's going on. I'm like, I think he has a contusion, not a concussion, because he was coherent. But contusions could be, blood clots or bruising of the brain, being that he's fallen a couple of times. So they said, okay, they looked at him, and just on physical appearance, they think that he might have had a stroke. So I'm like, great. So I had to register and then sit down and wait and see what was going on. And I told my father, I said, look, you call me, because you're going to be in the emergency room pretty much all day. You call me. I need to go home, take some medicine, and go to sleep for a little while, and I'll come back. About 6:00, he calls me, and this is 6:00 Tuesday evening on the 13th. Right, so this is just like a week and a half ago, about 2 weeks now. He puts me on speakerphone. He says I gotta do it. They did the CAT scan and they did an MRI. The doctor's there, and he's like, he's got blood on the brain. We got to do emergency surgery. I'm like, what? Now, so it sounding all mumbly. I'm like, what? So I'm his health proxy, and they're explaining to me what the pros and the cons are. And, I'm like, Dad, do you want to do this? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, then I consent to it. So, the procedure or surgery rather wasn't too long. It took 2 hours, but I couldn't be there because I had my little one at home, and it just, everybody was working. It was bad timing. But meanwhile, I'm like shitting bricks. I'm sitting here worried, can't really focus, can't, concentrate. I'm in pain, and then I'm mentally, going through it. So he calls me up after surgery and says, I got a hole in my head. He said something else, and he was like, where are my glasses and when are you coming? And I'm just like, oh, okay, he's fine. Like his faculties, he's there. So he was in the ICU for 3 days. He had to have like this drain coming out in a tube. Like other than that, he has about 20 staples in his head. But other than that, like he's functional, he's back to his self, he's joking, he's, being a pain in my ass. But they had to want to put him in rehab because he needs to like get, muscle mass working again, and just helping him get his bearings. He's doing speech therapy. Because, they need to monitor, because even though they got most of this blood or whatever, they're trying to see if there's any damage to his brains, if where the bleeding was at. Could mess up his motor skills, his fine motor skills. So that's like buttoning your coat, putting, he's got a little earring, things like that. And he's going for occupational therapy. So we had to wait a week. Pretty much, he was in one hospital for a week, and then this past Friday he was transferred. So I've been there every day, guys. I haven't been able to get online. I've been there from sun up to sundown with my dad. I'm the oldest, and I am more available than the other family members and stuff. But it was weird, it was wearing me down. And so in the interim, because I kept talking and I'm explaining to doctors and talking to him, my mouth wasn't really healing properly. And so I called the dentist like, yo, where's the pain medicine? Like, what happened? Where's the antibiotics? So they said, come on, let me see what's going on. And then they were like, oh, well, we sent you your antibiotics and we sent you your the ibuprofen to your pharmacy the same day you had surgery. But because I was so wrapped up with my dad, so now I'm catching up and it's healing a little bit better, but I'm not at, I'm maybe about 85% better now, but it's like still a little irritating. So that's been the week, guys, and that's why I haven't been on I wanted to do a mindful and a midweek last week, but truly I was just, family comes first over anything. And you know how I talk about my pops, like that's, what I'm saying? Like I got to be there. The general is down, the soldier needs to come through. And, I gotta do that for him. So with that being said, that was all that was going on. And I clued in some people behind the scenes so they knew, but I wanted to make a public, announcement to you guys that was going on. So, all is well. He's doing great. So thank you for my prayer warriors who have been behind the scenes. I truly believe that, supernatural was definitely like God was there, but more importantly, like his mom was like, it was just a lot of my stepmom who passed away in between these 4 years, his wife. There's a lot of spirit guides with my dad. They don't want him. First of all, I don't think my stepmom wants him to be up there with her just yet because he's a pain in the ass. So this was his wake-up call. Literally, he had to bump his head to get his act together. So I did want to touch on for this Mindful Monday really quickly is that, we understand that the holidays, we understand that these things are, Hallmark holidays. We understand that they are made up, man-made. They're rituals. Some could say it's pagan, but, celebrating the solstice is pagan as well. And we have to know how to use these terms and the vernaculars of these words and meanings and put some type of sense to it, because if we're going to say that Christmas is pagan and I'm not celebrating it, and Thanksgiving is pagan and I'm not celebrating these people who colonized my ancestors, okay, I can see Thanksgiving a little bit more than I can see with Christmas, only because Christmas it falls under the winter solstice, right? And so back in, I guess you want to say pre-medieval times and, pre that, there was this thing where they celebrated, it's always about harvest. And they have to collect their supplies, their food for the winter season. So it's this paying homage. And there might be some glitches going on because I see that the internet's acting funky. Don't do it to me, guys. Don't do it to me. But anyway, I'll push through. If you guys can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. And then I'm going to invite you guys to come up because it's the end of the year. We've been through a lot. Mindful Mondays, it was created out of, talking during my readings on Wednesdays, but I had more to talk about. Like, I just didn't want to do cards and readings. And, even though that's great and it's spiritually, inclined and we get messages that way. But I also want to talk about what's going on in current events. Thank you, my Lotus. And I want to talk about these things that, are, newsworthy, hot topics, things that bother me, things that I want to share, and my husband, he wants to be like a Kevin. He wants to be a Kelvin, rather, whatever Wendy Williams' husband was. I said, listen here, you're going to get sued just like him, because he's like, well, the Mindful Monday was really, I said, the term Mindful Monday was your idea, but I'm the brainchild behind all of this. All right. So you'll get your little whatever creative incentive. Freaking Pisces people, I can't stand them sometimes. They just You gotta love them though, because they are creative people. They think outside the box. They think too much outside the box. So whatever. But back to so the holiday seasons, as I said, especially Christmas, there's this thing going back and forth that I was looking at with social media yesterday, specifically Instagram. And what I wrote, I did write a little note here, holiday season and the distortion it has on people. So while I myself I'm not full throttle with celebrating Christmas. And to truth be told, I wasn't, it's almost kind of blessing in disguise what happened with my dad, because it gave me a reason to not go and celebrate anything, not do anything, because I've been tied up with him literally every day going to the hospital. Except for the storm that we had last Thursday and this cold weather. I mean, we're at freezing point. We're nowhere near Chicago, but we got some freezing temps up here in New York. So I got to see my aunt. My mom's here from Florida with my niece. So they came. So I don't really totally want to be a Grinch or a Scrooge, but I'm not for. Like I said, the past 4 years I've lost my grandmother, my stepmother, my uncle who lived there with my grandmother, and she's not my biological sister, but she's my sister and my soul sister, and her daughter was like a niece to me. I lost her and her father all within this 4 or 5 year span, and my stepfather, my sister's father, 2017. So it's been nothing but death, and I understand that there's this rapture. There's this, and our brother Rich. All right, because that's still, we just lost him 6 months ago. So I've been in this perpetual death cycle for like literally 4 to 5 years. And, I wrote it in IG like, Lord, if you're listening, I really need a little break. Can I take a vacation and everybody will be okay? Because I can't do all this adulting, not me by myself. So I didn't want to celebrate Christmas per se, but my house is not decorated. My dad needed some stuff for the hospital, so I just wrapped it up and I was like, "Here, you filthy animal, Merry Christmas." Because he's like a child now. He wants to be pampered and showered over. That's a very Pisces narcissistic trait. They're attention whores, and they like to have things about them. So good thing I know that about them, and I feed that ego sometimes. But so I don't have nothing in my house. I don't celebrate it like that. But I understand it's more about family, and it's not so much, some people are going all out. I'm not going to go for broke. First of all, I am broke. So I can't go out getting stuff for everybody and doing all that. That's over with. Those days are long gone. But, it is about getting with family. Unfortunately, some family members can't get to see each other on a daily basis or on a weekly basis or monthly basis. And so the holidays are usually that time that they can get off from work, so forth and so on, and be there for them. I get it. But here's the other part to it. And this is where I was having this kind of sour taste in my mouth. And it wasn't because I'm healing. It was because because people are becoming so aware of, these holidays are pagan and, it's a white man's holiday and whoop-de-whoop and whoop-de-whoop. They're so woke that it's almost like obnoxious that the amount of things that they know, it's like, all right, you know what? But you were just there like 2 years ago. You were just there 5 years ago. Ease up on the people who are still doing it and still kind of being a sheep to this to this way of being, and as long as we're living in this corporation, we're going to conform some way or another to something. Because I bet you dollars to donuts, those same people who were talking about the other people celebrating Christmas and, that's not Jesus's birthday and that's not about Christ and it's capitalistic, y'all wearing Nike sneakers talking about these people. You guys are wearing Adidas and things of that nature. Y'all wearing full Adidas suits, and you have the nerve to fix your mouth to say, those people wearing matching, pajamas and things like that and showing off. And no offense, but it's Black folks that is doing this. We so judgy, and it's maddening. It's getting to the point where it's like, if I sneeze a certain kind of way, oh, she's not. I mean, okay, you might be like, she might got something, but okay. But it's like, come on, y'all so judgy about who's doing what. And if this is what the people can do, let them be. Some person had mentioned, another, it's in the conscious community. That's really where it's at. And you see, that's an issue within itself, because it's almost like the people that are in this type of environment, it's almost there's a poison, because while there's an antidote, there's a poison going on, if you get what I'm saying. So now you're awoke and you have knowledge of self and you have knowledge of stuff, and you're going down the rabbit hole of conspiracies and so forth and so on. So now, because somebody in your family is not like that, oh, you this, you that, and the third. I get it. But it's to the point where you're so angry and there's aggression that you're almost casting these people aside, and like, does that mean that they're not a good person just because they think they still celebrate, Easter? You're celebrating a solstice, which is a pagan as well. So who's right, who's wrong? Right, FL? Contradictory. It's like, come on. I get it. Some people were like, oh, these people are so, they hoteps, but they wearing, matching pajama pants, and they celebrating, this devil holiday. And I'm just like, wow. So because you're so, and that's what I'm saying, don't be so high and mighty that you now casting stones at other people because they're doing it. And it be your own that's talking about the next person. Because you're not fixing your face to say that to any other culture or any other ethnicity. You're saying that about other people. That's what I'm saying. We're so judgy. It's like you got so much knowledge, it becomes a problem. You too smart for your own damn good. Like, use it wisely. And a wise man doesn't talk so much. Only a foolish one does. So I sit and I observe, and I had to kind of partake in this, being defensive of the people that are doing this, because it's like, come on. I said, if this is all they need to do to get to family, this is not about family. This holiday is not about family. I'm like, I can't even talk. I can't even, so some people are so, they want to be so pro-Black and Pan-Africanism type. You're missing the mark, because all that stuff is also boule. I mean, if you want to get to the nitty-gritty of it, that's why I said you're going to have to tear it all apart. You can't just pick apart one thing and then, oh, that's wrong. It all goes down then. It all goes down. I'm having the issue where, everybody still wants to believe that they're part of Africa and this, that, and the third. And that there's more revelation coming out, even more so that the Americas is where it's at. And there's interviews going on where there's Africans, people interviewing this Nigerian man, and he's like, listen, they're no brother and sister of mine. They are 400 or 500 years removed from us. They are Americans. So again, this whole, you want to be wrapped up with that and stuff and Wakanda out, some people are looking at you like, pfft. So, and then I wrote here, and how others, all right, so holiday season and the distortion it has on the people. and how others that are conscious thinkers looking towards other people when they celebrate the Hallmark holidays. I just said that. In 2021, so I try to get a statistic to show economically, because it is a capitalist society, and these holidays do increase revenue, money. So in 2021, the overall holiday spending, and holiday spending is between November 1st and December 31st. Excuse me, the holiday spending reached a record of $889 billion, and that's just within the United States. And that's only a month's time. That's not including your Halloweens, your Valentine's Day. I was in the grocery store this morning and they already got Valentine's gifts out. So that's what I wanted to just basically kind of come on about, and just, as we're wrapping up this fiscal year, this Gregorian calendar, right? Because then it's like, oh no, it's the Mayan calendar. Oh no, it's the Ethiopian calendar. Oh, listen, if you're living in the western part of the world, it's the Gregorian calendar, and that's what you're going through. Like, again, as long as you're living here and you're not out on the grid somewhere and you're not living under any government jurisdiction, you are still a slave to the system. All your free thinking is great and it's beautiful and it's a blessing. But there's still things that control you, all right, in the physical, that at some point you're going to conform to something. Last year, we had an issue with things being mandated by government, health organizations telling us we needed to get something put into our arm. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, maybe 4 times. If you don't do that, you can't come back to work. So people were scrambling around. I don't really want to get this done, but I got to, because I got to feed my family. And in that community, as I was just talking about, they're even like, oh, well, we didn't get it and we're good. And listen, again, a wise man doesn't have to speak about certain things. You don't need to fluff your feathers to say whether you got it or not and ostracize other people and say to these people, oh, they're sheeple. Shame on you for getting that done. You don't understand what another person has to go through. I've had that issue in my own family. And trust me, I understand. Am I for it? Absolutely not. Y'all know this. If I'm talking about being healthy and doing certain things, you got to lead by example. But at the same time, if I'm being compromised, I have to do what's right for my family, and I can't worry about what the next person thinks about me and mine. And so there's where I have this issue where I don't want to be a part of anything. I want to be collective and hear from all others. I don't want to be in a conscious group. I don't want to be in a Muslim group. I don't want to be in a Christian group. I'm all of that and nothing at the same time. I'm a speck in the grand scheme of things. Assimilation. Molecules put all together with spirit living inside me. I mean, like, let's get for real. I know FL, and I'm Kenny Poo's in the building. Kenny Poo, salute. Happy holidays, love. I mean, FL, I'm telling you, this past, I would say 6 months, and my brother Rich is not here because he would be the one that I'd be like, yo, what? Do you see this? Like, we would be looking sideways like, like, how is that happening? Because we subscribe to certain platforms on YouTube that, and I, again, like, he's like my wingman, and I'm like, oh, so it's kind of hard now. I don't have my wingman, and I'm just like, yo, I'm kind of like in this ocean by myself of, yo, do you see what I see? Like, are you peeping what these people are, you know what I mean? But he's here in spirit, so that's all that matters. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to burst bubbles, but at the same time, it's like, how dare you? How dare you? It almost becomes cliquish. So now we're in high school again. You're in that clique. You're in that clique. I don't want to be a part of any group if you're going to be ostracizing people and talking down at them and got your nose up in the air. Oh, I'm better than you because I took my CMOS and I didn't get anything. What? And even if you say, oh, I had a little sniffle, but you want to make it so quickly because you don't want to seem like, ooh, you got the cooties. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's stupid. Right. We got to get to that part because we're losing sight. We're holding on to the physical and we're losing sight that if you want to be this God and goddess, you got to go back into your spiritual self. And maybe this year we're coming up, and thank you, FL, because he's swaying me right into the new year of the Gregorian calendar, the fiscal year of, the United States or the Western civilization. That year, 2023, is going to equal out to the number 7. And that 7 is a spiritual number. It's a very highly spiritual number. And so a lot of, there's going to be this introspection. I don't know if I'm saying it right or wrong, but y'all know I can't say certain things correctly. That you're going to have to face again this man in the mirror. There's going to be this no more looking on the outside to find where you come from, who you come from. It's going to be looking within and unlocking those spiritual DNA codes to let you know who you are. And so maybe these things, these contradictories and, people talking against one another, maybe the past 6 months had to happen so that coming into this new year, right? Because then, oh no, the new year starts in March, when the spring equinox, all of that, we get it. If you know, you know. But this is going to give us this time frame where we're going to have to dive deeper. We're going to have to go back inside. And some of us are not going to handle that so well because some of us are so materialistic. Some of us are so, we need to be out there shining and talking and being out in public, that they may have a problem with it because they can't handle the truth. They can't handle seeing themselves inside. We fight basically mean each. I hear you. I felt it's definitely a battle. No, sweetheart. But if you have to, you shed them tears. Shed them. I'm here. Y'all see me choke up a little bit, especially when I talk about our brother Rich. It's going to be a battle of that. It's this purging of the old ways and releasing those things and being restored with with self. The ego is going to die. And for some people, it's going to be a hard issue. And you know what? Again, case in point with my father, he's very ego driven. A lot of stuff. He's very alpha male, very, machismo. He has to be humble. And I'm going to work on that with him. That's a tough cookie to crack. He's really a tough one. And I don't have expectations of turning my dad around, maybe 90 degrees, but I know 180 is going to be really hard because he's so set in his ways and so, he grew up in a different time frame than I did. So, but it's the spirit. And my dad's in tune as well. So, you're gonna have to face the man in the mirror. And when I say man in the mirror, it's man, woman, however you look at yourself. Truly that Michael Jackson song is gonna have to be played because there needs to be a change. Listen to Sam Cooke's song, a change is gonna come. All these things are gonna, there's this revelation that's happening, where you're going to have to, and not so much making a New Year's resolution. I think I had put that up in one of these. I think that's for next Wednesdays. I did a poll to see, are we doing resolutions or what? Like, I don't do them, honestly. I don't, because every day I have to commit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be. Some people need a time frame. I get it. I'm the type of person that I'm not a time frame. I don't like time. It constricts me. Even when I used to go to work, I'd be late, like almost every day. I don't work well with time, but it's a purpose. And if some people need January 1st to kick off their goals, then so be it. You too have the same birthday? Wow, see? Aw. My dad is a Taurus, too much aggression. Yeah, I have Taurus. I'm a Taurus moon. And my son is a Taurus sun sign. So we got this but because in my chart is pretty much a balance, I got like a grand cross. So I'm literally a balanced person. I don't really tip too much either way, but I'm fixed mainly. And that's a problem because that's that stubbornness. That's that I don't want to move, or I move to my own, drum, my own beat. And that's a problem. But, so there's things that need to be worked on. We're not, there's no such perfect thing. Now we got to compete with AI, right? People are creating themselves as AIs. And it's crazy because it's the same people that are talking about the other people who's celebrating holidays, but you're the ones posting up AI pictures of yourself. I don't get it. I don't understand. And I'm like, you know what? It's not meant for me to understand. Because isn't that like a sign of the 666? Isn't that a whole demonic thing? But they're like, oh no, embrace it because this is the way the world is going to be and this, that, and the third. Isn't that wrong? I mean, we gotta really make sense with certain things. Like, come on. The people who made sense for me is not. I'm kind of like getting confused here. Now I know because I have a good, intuition and innate compass in me. So I know certain things that are like, But just be mindful about who you're subscribing to right now. Because a lot of people are going to put out, we've seen it. Jaguar White is back on now, and she's got her own platform. Like, she's telling it like it is. But she's been this kind of, I forgot what it is, but she's been like this martyr, if you will. And just letting you know about the industry, and even putting her business on Front Street to let you know. Listen, I have, my hands are not clean either. But these people, their hands are big time dirty in the industry, big time. And sometimes you got to be like that. That's how I feel. If I can be as transparent. Now, there's some things not everybody should be privy to know about me or be close to me. To be next to me is, you know what I'm saying? But if you got to be the poster child to put out all your stuff so people can see, listen, you're not perfect. and you try to make an attempt every day to become perfect, then I give you the heads up. Look at case in point, our brother Malcolm X. He told you all the time, I was a pimp, I was a pusher, I was a user, I stole. And he turned out to be like, what? I mean, almost godly. You see what I'm saying? So we have that chance to turn our lives around. We have that window of the 90 degree, the 180 degree, and then, okay, I've arrived. You don't want a 360, because 360 means you turn right back and you right back to square one again. And what have you learned? What have you achieved? What have you accomplished? When somebody says 360, that means that they walking around in circles. And you don't want to be around that. You want to be that 90 to 180 to be like, all right, there's a direction now. There's a trajectory in which way I'm going. And so, with social media, this buzz, everything is on Front Street right now. So it's like, be mindful who you're subscribing to, because they'll sit out here and feed you all kinds of narratives. You listening and you thinking that these people are on the up and up, and in actuality, they're tearing down the next person on the sly, on the slick, in the name and the guise of being so righteous, or whatever you want to call it. I haven't seen her. I haven't went onto her website, because she's got her own. Driver White has her own. She's down with Roku, and she has her own platform. She does her music on there, and she's the person. And people throw stones at her as well, like, oh, she's running her mouth, she's looking for attention, whoop-de-whoop. But you know what? She's telling you things that we know. Why? And then it's like, what does she have to lose? She said they were out for her. There was a manhunt out for her and her husband. They tried to do the death threats to her too. They did the same thing with Professor Griff from Public Enemy. Anybody who's a truth sayer or truth speaker, they want to cut you off. Now, I'm not going to give Kanye West too much credit, because y'all know how I feel about that. But he was saying some things that was like, okay. But this is not anything new. And see, he's got his foot. He's like the temperance card. He's got one foot in the water and one foot on land. And there's just something I don't trust with him. He has a Pisces moon, so he's going to be doing things on, like I just told you how the Pisces are. There's this narcissism about them, that it has to be about them. And they're emotional. So that's how they feed off of emotion. Pay attention to me, look at me, look what I'm doing. Again, a wise man doesn't have to show what he's doing. Somebody had questions on Instagram. It was a male. And his question was to the collective, why do women hide their relationships? And I think that was a shot to me. I was like, I don't have to show. First of all, I don't want to show what's going on behind the scenes in my private life on social media. And if I do, it might be because there's a special occasion why I posted up pictures of my family. And it's not just women that do that. There are men who do that as well. You'll see a whole page of nothing but nonsense, not nonsense, but they're, or it's just always them. But see, I'm an investigator. So I don't look at the very recent pictures that the person has. I go all the way to like a year, 6 months to a year later. And I'm like, oh, bingo, then I found your wife, I found your mother, I found your brother, I found your father. I do that with men and women because people put on this persona that, they want to show you what they want you to see of them. But I want to see what your mother looks like. I want to see what your father looks like. If you're married, I want to see what your husband looks like, or your wife looks like. Same case in point with Twitch. Brother Zayd's in the building. Salute, God body. Salute. Thank you for coming through. It's the last, Mindful Monday. And so I'm just spewing my mind off with just recapping what's been going on the past couple of months, year. But I'm going to drop the link. So anybody wants to come up, you don't have to cam up. You could just, speak and just let us know what's been going on with you. What do you feel that's been prolific in this year? But anyway, so with Twitch, I didn't know, I hadn't known what he's been doing since when he was on So You Think You Can Dance, and I loved it. Me and my kids, we would watch that show because we love to dance. I love to dance. And I was like, dang, they got rid of Twitch. We like Twitch. And from that point on, I didn't know anything else that happened with him until his passing. And again, me being the little investigator, I said, let me go on his Instagram and see what's what. And on his 4 days before his so-called suicide, him and his wife are dancing. His wife is Caucasian, European, I don't know. I'm not going to judge. But y'all know how I feel. But they're going to tell me love is love, love is blind, Foxy. Okay, no problem. That's not my point. My point is that she was wearing, and I didn't know how big she is. She's on the Home Garden TV or something, Home Goods. She's up there. And I didn't know that he was working with Hit the Bell. Thank you, Big Cat. Look what my mama gave me for Christmas. You're an amazing woman. Aw, thank you, Big Mama. I'm my master teacher. Anywho, they were dancing. He had on all black and she had on all black, but she was wearing, in her house now, she's wearing this checkered coat. It's black and white. Now, if anybody knows about those people there in Hollywood, they use colors, signs, symbols, and numbers when they do their rituals, right? He passed a week before the solstice, but we were also coming out of, last month was a lunar eclipse. It was a blood moon. People were dying then too. So then I started going on to the wife's page because I was like, let me see what she's looking like. She looks a little witchy, to be honest. She looks a little, I was like, Twitch, that's you? She looks a little bossy. So what have you. So I started going through her profile. She was a single mother. They met up, I don't know, they were together for like 13 years or something like that, but she had the kid already. She had a little girl. And apparently people were saying that the little girl is what they call blackfishing or a cultural appropriation because she's a white girl. She's not mixed with any other ethnicity. So I was like, whatever. I just wanted to see what the background was going on because I'm nosy. I'm like, how did Twitch? So not knowing that Twitch was a DJ and commentator and sidekick to Ellen. And I was like, whoa, well, that's a wizard right there. And they say death comes in threes. Her ex-fiance or whatever, Anne Hitch, dies. Or she was in a coma. Wasn't she like in a car accident and then she was in a coma and then she's dead? And there was somebody else that was close to Ellen. That person is dead. So people, half of the people, in through social media is like, oh, check with the wife. The wife may have something to do with this. Other people like, oh, how could you blame her? She's grieving. She's going through this. The storyline doesn't make sense. But then I started reading them in that picture, in that the 4 days before he died. And I'm like, they had an argument. This is my intuition now. I don't know nothing. So disclaimer, I don't know nothing about nothing. But I was reading them and I'm like, there's something here and there's something to do with money. And I don't know if he was going to leave or she threatened to leave him. But that's what I was feeling. Because even though they put on this little front and this little show that they're smiling and they're laughing and they're dancing together, they're always dancing. And I'm like, oh, and FYI, even if you have pictures with you and your boo and your significant other, doesn't mean you're in a happy, good relationship. So what's the point of me showing or anybody showing you about who they're with? It's none of anybody's business. And the people that put their significant others on social media all the time, and y'all on vacation, or you're holding hands, or you're in matching stuff, you're compensating for something. Or you're trying to send a message out to somebody else that we're happy. I don't know about all that. That's right. False narrative. Facts. So to say that, oh, they were so happy, oh, he looks so happy, you don't know. And usually when there's a criminal and there's a death, a wrongful death, it's usually the spouse that you look at first. You question them first. So he gets up out of his bed in the middle of the night to go. First, it was that he walked to the hotel, a seedy hotel at that, and then goes offs himself. The story then changes to he got into an Uber car and was driven to the hotel room, and 3 days later they find a suicide note. Nobody heard any gunshots. What? She then goes to the police department and puts out a missing report. She says, oh, the car was there. There's something funny. He's a grown man. So chances of me going to the police first right away is kind of slim pickings. I would go to the police maybe a day and a half later, 2 days, if I went through all my resources of trying to find my husband. Would you go to the police department the next day to say your husband's missing? Okay. So that's all happening. And now 3 days later, the narrative runs again to say, oh, it was suicide and there was a suicide note. You didn't say that the first time. So whether he was going through something mentally, he probably was. And like I said, it could be more internal. They were saying that first, one narrative was, he's hiding some stuff. He's going to go to the grave with it. The next thing was some Bitcoin or financial, some online banking and stuff like that. He did a big gambling risk and lost all his money. So he was depressed about that. But then they were like, no, that wasn't the case. So what was the case then? Oh, and by the way, before all this happened, he had just wrapped up doing the Nutcracker for Disney. I'm gonna leave that there. So he's dancing around doing his thing for Disney, and then all of a sudden he departs from Ellen 6 months ago to embark on becoming his own person, business, so forth and so on. And now he's dead? But they say that there was no history of mental illness. The grandfather said, he was here with me not too long ago. There was no sign of it. Everybody's saying that. Now, sure, we put on a mask, so we walk around here like everything is everything. But he probably didn't have anybody to talk to. And like I said, that wife of his looked like she got a chokehold on him. Allegedly. So we don't know what was going on over there. Right. FL. True. You know what I'm saying? Like, where was he gonna go? Now, if he was really depressed, and people were like, well, he didn't want to do that in his house, and like his family find him and stuff like that. And I'm like, I get it, but most of the time, people do that in their home. They're like in the garage, or I find it just very weird. And we heard this narrative before about going to hotel rooms and offing yourself. Shock G last year checks into a hotel room. The staff are saying he was in good spirits. He's laughing. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's on Instagram playing his piano, talking to the audience. Where there you go, FL, check those numbers out. I didn't know that. 11 is that duality. That's what I said. They work with numbers, guys. I'm not pulling stuff out my ass to make it sound like something. We got to look at these things, and it bothers me sometimes that I try to explain to people like, yo, that doesn't add up. And some people they don't have the foresight like some of us do in here, where we're like, 11, he's 101, that's 11. That number's been moving around a lot. People are like, oh, I see 11. That number has been, for the past year, it has been, even for me, within the past couple of months, I've seen it be 111, 1111. I've seen 911, 511, 411, 311, 211, 1212. So there's a lot of numbers, but this is speaking on a higher level, a higher frequency. So those who are vibrating on a higher frequency will catch these numbers. And no, you don't have to be on shrooms to do that. Simple breath work and breathing can get you into that meditative state. I did it. I'm scared to take shrooms. There's some type of protest going on now in California where these Black people have band together to say, we need shrooms in our lives because this helps us with depression, against racial injustice. What? They want to walk through the redwood forest and not have any problems because they're melanated people. The world needs some damn bipolar medication. You doing a protest for what now? Right, messages from the divine, exactly. So you don't need drugs and alcohol, although they can get you to that level, but you need to be careful because you can contract some things and attract some things that you weren't prepared to encounter, and now they're here attached to you. So you want to have a clean mind and not a sober one. Excuse me, you want to have a sober mind and not a drug-filled one. And yes, mushrooms are the earth and weed, the ganja plant and all that good stuff. I get it. But you want to have a sober mind. And you can do that with just the breath techniques. And that can get you to the next level or several levels up. And so, yeah, that's the angels. And these are intelligent entities that are contacting those who can receive. All right, because we're receivers. We're electrically magnetic people. So you're going to, attract certain things. Henceforth, why you need to be walking around with black obsidian. Why you need to be walking around with tourmaline. Why you need to be walking around with smoky quartz, clear quartz, selenite. You want to, if you are attracting certain entities, you want to have that protection around you. Yeah, they're going to be used for dumb stuff. I saw that there's people that are really trying to push the envelope to get it legalized, especially in California, because they say it helps with, a lot of depression. But they're also using it in a control setting, because I watched this documentary on Netflix about it. And that, what is it, psilocybin? I think if that's the way I'm saying it correctly. That's right, Ethel. You got to guard yourself. Amethyst. This is the spirit. This is the highly spiritual crystal here. It brings in positivity and also repels any negative energies coming through and entities. So you want to be careful about who you attracting. You want to be high up and then you doing seeing all kinds of stuff that you're not prepared for. And yes, you can get a bad trip off of it because you're not in a controlled setting. You're somewhere out and about with your friends. You're in a social setting, and that's not the way to use these type of ancient medicinal herbs and mushrooms. You need to be in a controlled setting, microdosing. So when they want to put out, having this mushrooms as, another form of medication, it is more in a controlled environment. Microdosing. You can't just pop a little clove and you chilling and now, you're feeling all right. You need to be easy. You need to be in a setting where you're not going to freak out. You're not going to trip. It's almost equivalent to like LSD, acid, tabs. I never did all that stuff. I was scared because I heard people tripping and have a bad trip, like bugging out. And I'm like, nah, I don't want that. That's not fun to me. I don't want to be weirded out and I'm trying to have fun. I just don't. So I've never sniffed none of that stuff. Put it in my mouth, none of that stuff. The most that I did was herbs and alcohol. And herbs, I can't do that no more because I'm sensitive. It's doing that. It's doing the opposite effect on me. So it's putting me in places I don't want to be. It's putting me, and I'm talking about spiritually. I just don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel anymore. It served its purpose when I was younger and I was going through some things and I needed it to calm myself down so I didn't go to jail for knocking somebody out. When I was in Tupac stage, what I'm saying? I was really on my bishop back in the 90s. I was on my bishop game. But it helped me, and therefore I needed that at that point. I didn't need it, but it helped me to mellow me out. Now it just weirds me out, and I don't like that feeling. I feel like I'm really out of my body. Like there's two different people, and I'm like, I don't like that feeling. And alcohol, the same thing. This doesn't taste right. I don't, like I'll have one or two, and that's it. I used to be down in shots, chasers, all that stuff. But my body just can't tolerate it no more. And I think it's more spiritually speaking. Like, you don't need spirits in you. You don't need spirits in you, because that's what alcohol is. It's spirits. I don't know, though. I'm scared. I'm scared. But I hear it's a good thing. I'm just kind of old school, and certain things just don't. I'm really scared. But that's it, guys. I'm going to drop the link down. I just wanted to, kind of recap certain things that that we've seen play out, that we're going to probably see more. It's going to be more in our face, and we just have to be very, in tune with what we're seeing, and know that what you are seeing, it's not your eyes playing tricks on you, because that's what they want us to believe. All right, I'm dropping the link down there. I forgot I can do this. So it's not that your eyes are playing tricks on you. They're doing a lot of magical acts in front of us, and they're going to make it so that the sane ones, it's going to try to make them insane. It's going to try to question your thought process. It's going to make you think that you're bugging out, when in actuality they're doing nefarious things. They're trying to switch certain things around, and that's what they're going to try to. It's like this bizarro world. If y'all know about Superman, and he goes into this alternate universe, and this bizarro Superman. It's that I love it. It's that kind of way that's what's going to be happening, especially next year, because like I said, it's in the year of 7, and that's a spiritual number. So just as FL points out, it's 1111. Trust and believe that these people know that. They know how to, like I said, manipulate time, know how to work with numbers. They work with astrology. They work with, as they call dark arts. And they know that there's a lot of people that are becoming more conscious or conscientious, and they don't want that. They don't want you to question where were the slave ships at, or where were the slave boats. They don't want you to question how, if you have pictures of people coming over to Ellis Island in 1854 or 1856, and slavery, the last slave ship was just a couple of years before that. You got no pictures of the slave ships, but you got ships and pictures of Europeans coming over to Ellis Island by the bushel, by the truckload. You got pictures, snapshots, black and whites, but you got no pictures of a slave ship? Like Dr. Umar says, don't you find that suspicious? I saw that on somebody's post, and it was like a 1 minute, 2 minute clip, and I'm like, I mean, my head is just spinning with the amount of information that I'm like picking up on, because these are things to make you think. So try to find those truth tellers and stick with them. You'll see that their page is very small and there's not that many followers and following. That's because they're revving up. they're going to tell you, they're going to show you things that are the truth. And you'll be like, nah, this guy is fishing. I thought this, and this is why I'm telling you. Check those people out. Oh, shout out to a new subscriber that we got. I think it's Fran. Hold on a second. Speaking of, going on people's platforms and pages and things. Fran Taratino. Salute to you. Thank you for coming aboard and hanging out and being part of the Foxy Moon Soul People's family. Right. Like where we been? Where you been? If they're telling you that there was this transatlantic slave trade that happened in 1850 something, 68, all that time frame, where's the ships to show that? We get paintings of what that looks like. We get artist renditions of what that looks like. Oh, slaves were piled up on top of each other. Oh, it was horrendous. They were dying. Somebody posted this, not posted, they wrote in that section. This is on Instagram. And Maybach sends me stuff too that makes me like, what? The person said, if there was a couple of thousand Black men and women on these ships, and they were able to bring majority of them over, those that didn't try to, go and, jump in the water and kill themselves. It takes 5 officers sometimes to bring down a Black man. Case in point, Rodney King. There was 5 cops. Granted, he was on drugs, but it was 5 cops. Because he kept getting up. You saw that in the video. He got up. They was like, whack. He got up again. They was like, whack. Case in point, Eric Gardner. Now, he wasn't on drugs. He was a big dude, 6'1", 6'2", out in Long Island, New York. I believe it's 2014. Selling Newport cigarettes, illegal or not. That's all he was doing. It took 5 to get this man down, and they had to come up by like this and chokehold him and bring him down. That's one. In these slave ships, they didn't have that many crew members, because you had to have your captain and the skipper and the guys to, man the ship. Most of them, you got your little cook there. So you got more melanated beings on the boat than you do overseers and colonizers. Am I right or am I wrong? Ooh, you're gonna have a good year, FM. This is why all these numbers are hitting you. You're gonna have a nice spiritual, supernatural awakening. When I did your reading, I said tap in with your family member, your ancestors. You are reincarnated as a chief, or your grandfather was a chief. Somebody's high ranking up there. I told you gotta tap into that, because that's gonna be your year. This is gonna be your year on that level. I got goosebumps thinking about it. Ooh, I got goosebumps because I know that's gonna be your most pivotal point in life, your awakening. And even though you're awakened, it's going to be like this supernatural wake up call for you. But yeah, like, let's make it make sense. So you mean to tell me that they said that there was the Amistad, that some were able to man the ship and outrank the colonizers? But I mean, come on, like, seriously? I mean, these are case in points, and I'm like, damn, that made me really think, like, these people, even if they had guns and they were shooting people on the ship, I'm just trying to rationalize. And I don't please don't look at me as trying to take away from that part of history. But what I'm trying to get us to do is question it, re-question it again, cross-examination. All right, because they've been giving us this narrative for so long that we are really brainwashed into it. And it's got us really thinking like, damn, yo, my ancestors were slaves. Yo, they came from Africa. And, you know, for me, I never thought like that. I know I'm 3 generations in, you know, America, but I knew like my background. So and Africa, never African, Ghana, Benin, Toga, none of that was spoken about. Maybe they didn't know, granted, but somebody would have passed down. Yeah, you know, your grandfathers on that side of the family is African. They're you know, Guyanese or, you know, Benin. Nobody mentioned that is what I'm trying to say. So for most melanated people here in America to really think like, oh, I'm going to say some of us, because most know that their families were from here. They know that their families are indigenous to this land. They don't want us to know that there's all this. I mean, listen, there's formations here and in South America that is being talked about now. So it's like you can't really hide anymore pointing out to east. You can't. That's what I'm saying. You got to face that man in the mirror. And next year, that's part of it. So internally, some will be going through that, facing the man in the mirror and getting in and tapping into their God frequency. But collectively, it's going to be facing that. Yo, you're going to realize, no, I ain't no Hebrew out in Lebanon somewhere. In the east. Because little Egypt is here. We got Cairo, city named Cairo in upstate New York. I told you, got the Appalachian Mountains. That's one of the biggest formations that runs in many states across the eastern seaboard. You got the Mississippi River, which they call the Nile River. We got to do our cross-examination now and look back in the history prior to these books that were written by the colonizers and show, listen, we had food over here. We had all these agricultural produce. I read it to us the past couple of Mindful Mondays where we had the road to El Dorado, that potatoes were actually here. And we transported and did commerce across the seas. And this is why Ireland now has is known for potatoes, when in actuality, the indigenous people were doing trades with the other indigenous people. And therefore, that's why they have that there now. We have to cross-examination. Colonizers are going to be on trial. We need to question these books that they've been giving us and use our God-given innate moral compass to guide us back to home. Home is here, and this is where you're going to feel it, but home is also your land. And that's the issue. It's been an issue. It's been an uprise for the past couple of years in regards to, getting our land and hearing, the Black Lives Matter and wanting to get land and reparations and all that good stuff. So what's going to happen is that the folks that want to get reparations, you're going to have to do this introspection to yourself and your family, because you might not be getting anything. I'm not. And that's all right. My land is not of the physical. I know this now. This is why I'm having a hard time with stuff. It's for me to give to others. It's not for me. And that's fine. But for those who are seeking some type of finance and money and land and so forth and so on, you're going to have to do this man in the mirror check and see who qualifies. Because now you're asking for the colonizer to give you back what was already yours that they may trade and barter to other colonizers. When lo and behold, some of your family members were doing these type of trade-ins with the colonizers. So, how about them apples? That's right, FL, that's right. Thank you. FL says, literally taking you on a time. I love it. I love the time machine. What is it? H.G. Wells. I love that book. I love the movie, the old 1960 something. Yeah, I'm all about that time machine life. It's all in here. It's bringing us to that time, that moment, and actually visualizing simple. Love your superpower. Thank you. Thank you. And I love to share it so that you can join on that magical. Listen. What was it? Puff the Magical Dragon. What's the other movie? Oh my goodness, with the white dragon, Falcor. What was it? The Never Ending Story. I love it. Those are my books. Not my books, my movies. And Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal. I love all of them. Listen, Jim Henson was a genius. A genius. So using your imagination, you're a magi. You are the magi inside of you. That's what I'm saying. You've got to get back inside yourself. Because you can create. You are the creator of your destiny. And while, yes, there's some people say, oh no, there's no God. I'm not about that life. I believe that there's a creator outside of me. Because to make everything that's here, when I'm talking about everything, I'm talking about the land. I'm not talking about buildings. I'm not talking about what man made. I'm talking about looking at Colorado and that type of formation out there and the waterways, the birds. Listen, there's a creator for that. So, but we're also in the image of the creator. Yes. And so you have a little bit of that magic inside of you. So you can start creating and giving life to certain things that you're destined to do for your time on this plane. Oh, Lotus, Miss Sharon, yeah. She loves us. Miss Sharon really loves us. And I was so happy to speak to her. I did a reading with her this past Thursday. And I was just so happy because I couldn't talk and I couldn't get on to tell you guys what was going on in my life. And I was just like, I was so more happy to see her and talk to her than her getting her reading from me. And I was just like, oh, I miss you guys. I miss not being able to talk and tell you. And my Lotus, like I let her know behind the scenes, and Brother Maybach that the issues that I was going through. So yeah, I miss you guys. I appreciate you guys this year, from starting last March to up until this year, December 2022. It's been just a magical ride. It's been like being on that carpet and taking this ride with people who are like-minded and believing me steering the ship in the right direction. And getting off whenever you need to, like, okay, I got this part, because some people haven't been, they haven't rode the full ride. Some have stopped and found their destination in between that, and that's all right. That's if that was my purpose, then that was my purpose for them to find their purpose. But those who have stayed, I mean, it's amazing to see things unfold like Lotus and my big cat. That's really been from, inception of me doing the Foxy Moon channel. So I light up. I was lighting up talking to you guys, talking to my family about you guys and just how receptive and loving and welcoming and funny. And just like it's, you guys are friends, more family. And just having a cool relationship. Like, it's like, okay, y'all don't know me and I don't know you, but we have a rapport and that's authentic. And I'm just excited. I'm so happy that I met you all. I'm grateful that I have, a crew like you guys that are like, okay, we're giving this a shot. Like, we're going to see what Foxy's talking about. I mean, from Brother Rich, like, I don't know. I'm scared of getting a reading and you're spooky good. And I don't know. To like, oh snap, you're on point. You're spooky good. Like, just for me, that's like, what? Because it's still new. This is still, my journey is still very much so new, even though I was dabbling in it from like 2017-ish, but to come on, like I started on Instagram and doing my readings there, and that's where, for those that don't know, Yellow Jesus, we're kind of all coming out of the Star Report, chat room, and him catching on to watching one of my lives on Instagram and like, you're good. To then me having a conversation and conversations behind the scenes, like, I'm not really doing nothing with my YouTube page, my YouTube channel. It's just there. I really go on other people. Like, I like to like watch other things on YouTube, not be a YouTuber. And he's like, no, but you need to do that. You're good, and your voice needs to be heard and get a bigger audience going. And I was like, all right, I'll leave it alone. I'm gonna disconnect my YouTube. And he was like, please don't do that. So where he brought me on to Behind the Bar with Maine, and I was on there a couple of times. Larry Beach is a pillar. And so from that I gotten, the Fresh Family. Who else is coming from that era? Pink Sugar. So, and she's still around. She's still rocking with me. So, having that experience, and then, all right, like now I can take off, and just keep going with the YouTube. It worked itself out. Somebody saw something in me and was like, yo, keep doing you. And I had people behind the scenes also, like, encouraging me, but I'm shy. Believe it or not, I'm shy. I still get excited when I come on. Every day is like, every time I come on live, it feels like the first time. Like, I get still anxious and excited. I'm happy for you guys. Ivan G, we coming from that Behind the Bar, the only Black Moses I know, who also has his platform as well. So, to go on also and be on other people's YouTube channels, and then some of their people who are in the chat, like coming over and being a subscriber. I'm like, wow, that's our Pamela. Pamela's coming from that arena as well, but she's coming from 186 or 183rd, excuse me. Just different. Brother Zay, we were on Sabir Bay's chat room, and he's over here now. Black is Truth. We're on Discretion TV, the best Tupac channel in the world, and so he came over. Actually, Miss Sharon is coming from another YouTube reader, and she's just become family over here. And we had the last time I was on, we had a discussion with our UK brothers, Brother Pinero and Brother Jason, where he has a book out. 21 Rules of Blackness. So, and he's coming from another type of kind of a high esteemed YouTube channel that it's called Real Black. And, you know, now he's a subscriber and I'm a subscriber with him. And we, you know, he's been on this platform. So this has been an amazing year for me. This has been just a wonderful ride to meet, you know, so many different like-minded people, but different thoughts and different walks of life. And it's just really been amazing. And then going to MREC TV and then speaking my experience about spooky good stuff to getting Brother Maybach, now a resident for Foxy Moon, who's come on to the panel and has spoken his mind. He has another guy that's come over here too, and he doesn't come on as much, Brother Danny. So just, and I'm not even doing things on purpose. Like, I'm not like follow Foxy Moon. You know how some people can go on other people's channels and be like, yeah, subscribe to, like, first of all, that's disrespectful because you're on somebody else's platform. You shouldn't be promoting yourself like that. It's etiquette. And so I never said anything like to the level of, you know, follow Foxy Moon and things like that. They liked what I was saying, and that made them want to come through and hear what I have to say. Brother Hurricane, Brother JBJ, that's the JBJ network. Hurricane's coming from there. John Horse is coming from there. They just wanted to hear what I had to say, and now, you know, they're here. They're subscribers, and they come through when they can. So I say all that to say that, again, I'm just very happy to share this space with some amazing people, and we're all going through some things. We're not perfect. We don't pretend that we are. We got issues, you know, like everybody else does. But when we come here, it's kind of this mutual ground, and we're chill. We just want to hear the word. We want to get some type of inspiration, you know, some type of knowledge, apply it to wherever we need to, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I'm going to drop the link again. You know, if anybody wants to come through and speak their piece, tell us what you found interesting, what happened to you this year, good, bad, or indifferent. You know, let us know. So there's the link there. Also, I am doing personal readings. The book that the calendar is open, so you can book personal readings. I do tarot readings for those that are new or just kind of listening in. I changed some of the services around. So really what I'm doing now is just romance. I'm doing 5-card spread, which can pretty much be anything regarding health, family, deceased loved ones like to pop up every now and then. And if you're not really too sure about what tarot reading is all about, but you're curious, I do a oracle reading, and that's 1 card, and you guys can, you know, if you're feeling comfortable with that and you want to go ahead and get another reading, then yeah, and that's how you do it. So you could click the link up in the about section, or you can go into the community section. There's a couple of links there wherever you can find it to book readings. And I'm fairly reasonable. You will see that. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell, because YouTube be playing with the numbers or not. People could just be dropping off like, I'm good now. I'm good with Foxy. So, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It helps the algorithm move along. Also, Elizabeth and Big D, those were my, I had to do grand jury duty in October, and us just talking about our lives and me telling them about certain things. They've come on, they've seen me, and they've been here as well. Pink has brought some people over, some phenomenal people, and I appreciate that. There's so many, and I you know, I don't want to lose, but I know the people that come on constantly, they're here. You guys know who you are. Big Willie, because Big Willie was a big contributor in the very beginning of this channel. And you know, we all have things to do. Popeye, there's a lot of people, a lot of places that I've been in the social net arena. You know, I was on Clubhouse, and in that Clubhouse I've gotten some people, and now they come over to YouTube to catch me every now and then. So Bullets Gotti has been there in the cut a couple of times. It's just phenomenal. It really is. It's truly it's a blessing. I don't want to sound cliche, but it's really like a blessing. It's an awe-struck moment to just be, having this, being around so many people like that. All right, y'all don't want to come on and talk about stuff. What's going on now? Because if not, then I'll do the Oracle, the Wisdom Oracle, and we will end out this Wednesday. I will be back, knock on wood, God willing, to do the last midweek check-in and get what the health, romance, our finances, what it's looking like for, well, we could say what's coming up for the new year. And then next week, when the new year kicks in, I will be doing all signs for the month of January, or Capricorn season, however you would like to put it. Capricorn is going to be coming in here, that discipline, so we gotta take heed to the goat. Jay Savage, speaking of the goat, another one. Boy, we had our moments, and now we're all good. Kid Murray, another goat. So they've come through a couple of times and blessed us, blessed their presence. So, all right. I put the link down if anybody wants to come through. I know it's early, and I know some of us are back to work and things like that. So, might not be able to jump on. So what I'll do is just give us our Wisdom Oracle and keep it pushing. Okay. All right, let me put these orange peels. Guys, remember to load up. We're in the winter months. Stock up on your, as Big Cat says, drink your water, fruits, eat your fruits, vegetables, health as well, because we're in that time where, all the little bacteria are staying stagnant, and we're in close proximity with each other. So you want to be loaded up on your vitamin C, vitamin D, get you your sea moss, all that good stuff, because you're going to need it, keep your immune system strong and healthy. Also a brother FL, like, he's come on from time to time here. I appreciate all you guys, like, for real. This is just, this is beautiful, and I love it, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you, and especially today, because you were able to show up and show out today. All right, so let's go ahead and do this Oracle. It's Wisdom Oracle. And for those that are not aware, I like to end our Mindful Monday with something spiritual as well. And, get something to keep us until I can do the Wednesday midweek. But it's generally just to end off our Mindful Monday on a good note and get some wisdom. So what is this? And Wednesday, I will talk more about the planet alignments, because we're going to be going into a lot of alignments going on. So you want to have the heads up about that. All right. So let's see what's here for the collective, please. All right, we got this orphaned again. Number 5, but it's in reverse. All right, this is what it looks like upright. It's in reverse. So then we got peace here, bottom of the deck, and that's in reverse as well. So, this is that internal, as I was talking about. This is that going within. You may have to isolate yourself away from other people. All right. And, I know it's hard because some of you might have family members around you right now. So you may not be able to, completely isolate yourself. But, to find that inner peace, you're going to have to find some type of way or coping mechanism is what I'm hearing, to just have a few minutes for yourself. If it's 5 minutes, it's all you can spare, then that's it. And you need to just let some people know, hey, listen, I need about 5 minutes. Get into your meditative state, listen to some, the Hertz, or in YouTube, there's a lot of meditation, guided meditation, affirmations. You just need to have a few minutes for yourself to get centered with self, to find your peace. You could be getting a little overwhelmed now because you're around family. You're around more family members than you have been because you're in this holiday, week. So for some of us, it might be a little overwhelming. All right. The number 32 is off 23. This card here, bottom of the deck, that's 5. All right. So that's 55. And that's a big change. 5 has to do with change, can also be dealing with conflicts. That's what I'm just saying, that, you could be around a lot more people right now because you're in this holiday arena. So let me look to see what that angel number is using the angel book. All right, this is the angel numbers book. So let's see what number 55 is. All right, and I have it underlined because that number comes up quite a bit. Thank you, my Lotus. So 55 says major shifts are taking place in your finances and state of abundance. Know that opportunities to soar are coming your way. So yeah, there's an egg here as well. So there, you could be sitting on some ideas, trying to, see when you can hatch some things out. This also is that soaring. Okay, what is that? A dove here. So this is, the dove has to do with, mostly with God. This is that messenger. You could be seeing a dove. That's your confirmation that whatever you're trying to do, whether it is to start something new or this isolation that you need to have, this is being guided for you divinely. It's divine order. You need to have this so you can be sane and have sanity for yourself. You could be feeling left out. Maybe you weren't able to have family and friends come over during this time. So don't look at it as an opportunity. Don't look at it as a sad moment, but this is your opportunity to now get, have this peace within yourself. Feeling isolated and feeling left out. You could be feeling, I do have a lot of people around me, but still feeling alone, because that happens. You could be around everybody and just still feel like out of place, alone, feeling like, orphaned, feeling abandoned. Just hold on. This is that time. You got to do that reflection and go within. Get you your crystals that resonate with you. Your selenite, this is good for that type of divine connection, divine communication, rather. And just look up other crystals that sodalite is a good one. I wear that all the time. It's good for a communication as well, saying what you mean, doing your intentions. This might be the time where I'm going to talk about that more so on Wednesday, but this is the time where, we're just coming out of a new moon in Capricorn. You might want to write some ideas down or write down some intentions, some affirmations. Like I said, giving yourself this timeline. If you need to be put on that, right? This is more about you and not about anybody else. You could be feeling woe is me right now, but again, we're in that holiday. You could be feeling sad. I get it. But you got to turn the tables, right? Be the alchemist, and all those emotions that you're feeling, flip it to make yourself feel good about it, right? Some of you could be pouring so much into family at the moment, where it's taking you outside of yourself. You need that 5 minutes. You need 55 minutes because it says 5. You might need like an hour to regroup, get centered, listen to your music. If it's not meditation, it could be whatever. Listen, sometimes Tupac, I gotta listen to Tupac sometimes to get me right back in myself. So whatever it is that makes you feel good and reminds you, as Brother FL has said, I'm taking y'all on this time machine, time travel, whatever takes you to a place in your life that you felt happy, whether it be you were 4 years old or 5 years old or you were 15 years old. Something in wherever that timeline for you that made you feel good, go to that happy place in this moment. Dwell in it for a little bit, because you need something that's going to help you boost up and give you the strength that you're dealing with, because you could be dealing with a lot of stuff outside of you. And you need to get centered back in and find that, inner you, but the inner you that makes whatever it is that makes you happy. So if it's creativity, writing, music, musician, whatever it is that makes you happy on the inside, that gives you that joy, this is the time to find it, revamp it, and get it going again. All right, guys. So that was your message. Thank you. Lotus says message received. Yeah, and then on the top of the deck here is deep knowing in reverse. With this moon, I just said we just had a new moon in Capricorn. And that's 43 breaking down to 7. This is all spiritually aligned. Spirit guides tapped in real quick, real fast to let us know, get back into that center. You are the compass. Get back into you. No one else can take you out of that. Things can distract you for a while and get you out of there, but eventually you're going to have to turn right back inside. And that's just, there's an owl here and there was a moon here. So this is all spiritual and it's in reverse. This is internal. This is not you finding deep knowledge outside of yourself. This is tapping into getting the deep knowledge within yourself. As I said, you have codes, light codes, DNA codes that are not of this world. You're spiritually connected as well. So that's where you got to tap back into. So you got to do your chanting, your your sitting in meditation, your lotus pose, whatever you got to do to get yourself right. Please do it. Find it. Number 7. Exactly, FL. So that's your message. That's your message. Lotus got it. It's for whoever needs to hear it. If it's not fitting in, try not to, spin it for you. It's just not your message at the time. But Wednesday, you might find something that might hit you and be like, ooh. But, even if it doesn't, something in this message you can find to apply it to. Bottom line is, it's just you need to get centered with self. Same thing with me. As I said, I'm being pulled apart in different pieces. And trust me, I was starting to crack a little bit when I was in the hospital with my dad, because it's pulling me away from what I like to do. This is me being up here with you guys, and I couldn't do that. Well, I couldn't really speak either. But and just the drain of being in the hospitals and being attentive and just, being a nurse for him, because even though there was nurses there, he was a fall risk. He's a fall risk still. So if he's making any moves, I'm right on top of it. And that can pull you a little bit. That can drain you. It takes you out of your element. It takes you out of who you. And it's not that. It's not. It takes you out of who you are, but it just shifts you in a different way. And some of us like to be back in that comfort zone. That's a Taurus type of energy as well. We like to earth energy, Capricorn. We like to be grounded. We like to be safe, sort of say, and we like to stay in this straight and narrow path. And anything that kind of shakes us up a little bit, we're like, ooh, we don't really like that. We're creatures of habit. So for any earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, you know what I'm talking about. You guys like that, that stability. And if something's shaking your core a little bit, you get a little frazzled. And so this message here is to get that back. You got to reclaim all that energy that you have out there and reclaim that back into you. Leave all the frazzle energy out and bring in all that positive energy that you put out to others, so you can have that back inside of you. And doing that and holding your heart as you're doing your meditations, as you're doing your affirmations, as you're listening to Aretha, Franklin, Anita Baker, whoever it is you're listening to. If you're listening to The Weeknd, if whatever's making you feel good at that moment, even if you're standing outside and you look up at the sun and that makes you feel good, hold yourself, and feel all that energy and just ride with it for a little bit. 5 minutes, 55 minutes, you figure it out, or 7 minutes. All right, guys. So that is our last Mindful Monday. Again, don't forget to hit the notification bell on your way out. Also, like and share if you can this video. Are you alive past 7? Okay, Lotus. So Lotus and FL, this is their message completely. They are receiving it, and I am happy. I am as well. I'm receiving it too. Because I'm like, listen, yeah, you bring me joy. See, look at Lotus is on. I'm like, get that joy. And that's Anita Baker. I love that song. So whatever it is, guys, whatever it is that you find that makes you happy, go back into your timeline. You do your own time travel and get back into that happy moment just for that minute. It's not to lose yourself and stay there because it's safe and it's comfortable. But it's just to bring this joy back into you, all right? Because we're going to be going into another paradigm, if you will, with this 7 number for 2023. And that's going to bring some other type of energy as well. So, we get a head start. Oh, also, I'm going to talk about this on Wednesday, but we are in the Mercury retrograde as well in Capricorn. So go figure. Some people are not going to be wanting to talk at all. It may be best that you don't, because communications will get misconstrued, as they say. But we'll talk about that Wednesday. All right, guys. Again, thank you to my Lotus, my big cat, for being, you guys are the moderators extraordinaire, but especially my Lotus. And big cat, I thank you again so much for my Christmas blessing. That was such an amazing a gift, if you will, so unexpected. And it was like, that was just the icing on the cake, if you will, just being with my family. I haven't seen my mom, and I saw her recently, but I haven't. And being in the comfort of family and then just getting an alert, and I'm like, oh, big cat. And they're like, what is a big cat? I'm like, it's my big cat. So I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, guys, be well, stay safe, stay hydrated. Eat your fruits and vegetables, man. That's all we can do to stay as healthy as possible. And I will catch you on the